the latest Polymarket odds on Iran. US strikes 77% likelihood. Khomeini, the Ayatollah, out by end of January, I think is now up to 24%. Fall of the Iranian regime by 2028, 47%. So the money is moving in the predictive world to suggesting that this is the beginning, as the Chancellor of Germany says, this is the beginning of the end of that regime. But we have been on this rodeo a few times in Iran, and it's been brutally repressed in the past. What do you think is going to happen here? And in terms of that point Dave makes, when things happen organically, you know, the fall of the Berlin Wall, we all remember watching that and how good that felt. And it didn't need outside direct military intervention. Is it not better for America to sit back and watch the Iranian people determine their own future in the way that appears to be happening than potentially cause mayhem by directly interfering on their behalf?
Well, I think those are two separate points, and I think my friends on this panel are taken with a lot of abstract ideology, whether it's libertarianism or leftism. I'm a little more interested in practical politics. So what I think is most important here is that Iran remains orderly and does not descend into total chaos. Iran is a real country with a more of a unified history, and also that the Iranian people do better. Obviously, the Islamic Revolution was terrible for them. It destroyed their material conditions, led to a huge erosion of their rights and liberties. And so it's worth remembering that the policy of the United States has been for regime change in Iran since 1979. So the Iranians have been undermining our interests all around the world for a very long time, not just looking at the recent Iraq war where they killed over 600 Americans, but going all the way back to the 1983 Beirut barracks bombings, going back to the attack on U.S. troops in Saudi Arabia in 1996. I think we would all agree, I hope we're all mature enough to agree, that nations have interests, especially when you are a major power or a hegemonic power as the United States. We have interests around the world. Dave keeps pointing to his displeasure over one intervention in Guatemala. The United States has intervened for 150 years, 88 times in Latin America. It's usually worked out very well. Sometimes it hasn't worked out well. But what would have been worse is if we had let, during the Cold War, the Soviets get a hold in Latin America. What is worse is allowing communists to run roughshod, both from the perspective of the people there as well as from the interests of the United States.